Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it!
Andrew, I am so pleased that the year is over.
Oh yeah,
it was a tough one. It was long.
It was a tough year,
and we had the end of the year. We were doing all of our lists and our top 10s and greatest things of the year. And I think there's only one way to bring in the new year. And
what's that?
And that's a list of our top 10 favorite upcoming things.
Oh, the things we're most excited about
of this year. So I've got
Next year.
I've got this year that's coming up.
The 2023.
Sorry,
2023.
Hang on, let me check.
Year of our Lord 2023.
Let me check my notes here.
Yeah, check your notes. Wait, why would you check your notes? Well, that's a lot of typing.
How do you spell www?
You just spelt it. www. Yep. Dot.
And which is like the comma, or is that?
No, like a period.
Period. Yeah, no, I did it's 2022. This upcoming 2022. I have the God of War Ragnarok is coming out.
Oh my God.
Elden Ring. I cannot wait. I can't imagine I'm going to dislike that game.
Yeah, well, you'll never finish it either. But yeah, you have just as good luck this year too.
But so what is your what Ragnarok's not on your list? Or is that?
We're talking about the year. Did you miss a year? What is going on?
I just figured. What is?
Do you want to talk about some games that are coming out next year?
I'm feeling a little faint, actually.
Have we talked? Well, Starfield was on both years, but
Starfield's not coming out until next year.
Yeah, but no, that's this year.
Oh,
2023.
Andrew. I fucked up so hard.
Are you okay?
I forgot.
About?
What?
You forgot about what?
Did you say a boat?
A boat? What
is this, Noah? It's raining?
What did you forget about?
I forgot. I had 2022. It slipped my mind. You know how when you sign your checks and by mistake
for like a week or two.
Right. We're not even a week or two into the year, and I wrote down 2022 on my list, and I just went from there.
Do you not remember 2022 at all?
No.
We talked about Ragnarok. We talked about Elden Ring.
That doesn't sound like me.
It wasn't for most of the year, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you didn't talk about those games for the most of the part.
Well, look,
actually, you didn't play Ragnarok at all in 2022. So maybe.
Or maybe I did. And you'll find out that, as well as our top 10 most anticipated games of the year 2023, this week on the Retrograde Podcast.
And welcome to the Retrograde
Podcast, where we remind you what you used to love and whether or not you still should.
I'm Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself.
Happy New Year and work.
Oh, yes, well, your last name does work for a lot of stuff.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, it's just weird. And I think it has a lot of syllables and sounds in it.
Sure. Starting with a vowel helps.
Starting, what is this, Price of Right? Wait.
No, Wheel of Fortune.
No, it's definitely not Price
good start to 2023. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody. And obviously, if you made it this far, you've seen the title of the episode. And that is our most anticipated things of the year of 2023.
Which we've done a couple times now.
We've done a couple times, and sometimes we do the top 10 lists. And it turns out the games that we were most excited about for the coming year have been pushed to a following year.
Oh my God. I was looking at last year's list, and half of the list did not come out that year.
Go figure.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll show up on this year's list.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe they're clutch primetime performers. Here we go, baby.
Indeed. Well, if you're new to this podcast, first of all, thanks for listening. Typically, what we do on the podcast, we take a look back at the games that we used to play when we were kids. We rate and review the games as we remember them back when we were kids.
Do you want some help?
We rate them and review them as we remember them back when we were kids. And then we rate and review them as we remember them back when we were kids. We come back, we rate and review them as we remember them back when we were kids.
You said kids like 5 times now. Stop doing that.
Andrew, oh shit.
Oh, you're in
my
loop?
parole.
Oh, no. Have you crossed state lines?
Yeah. No. Typically what we do is we rate and review the games as we remember them back when we played them as kids. Then we play the games, come back, and rate and review the games as they hold up in the modern day against the modern games.
That's good. First episode 2023, everyone. Welcome to the Retrograde Podcast. Mikey, what are we doing today?
Well, today we're going to be counting down our top 10 most anticipated games of the year in 2023. I already said that. Now you're making me repeat again.
I just want to be clear after the little time loop we went into.
Right.
I didn't know if our listeners did as well.
I wonder if there's going to be any time loops in the games that we're going to be focused on this year.
Only one way to find out.
Well, there is only one way to find out, Andrew. But before we actually get to the list, I want to talk a little bit of gaming with you, Andrew. Typically when what we do on this podcast.
Oh my, stop. Jesus.
Typically, whenever I have a new investment in my life that I want to share with the listener, Like when I got my Steam Deck, for example, we introduced a segment called Papa's Purchases.
Oh, yes, we did.
But this week,
yeah,
there's a new Papa in town in the form of Andrew Bass.
Oh, yeah, I'm the new Papa.
And he's got a...
By golly, it's Papa's Purchases. With me, Get on board.
Get on board. No, you gotta let it overlay.
Oh, okay,
and that's
right,
a Papa's purchase, Andrew.
Yes, I have a Papa's purchase. And by Papa, I mean my player one, who is definitely the daddy in my life. She bought me and us a Nintendo Switch because it's 2016. And I can't begin to describe to you how excited I am by this.
I'm excited too, because you and I have a long-standing blood feud, you might call it, as pertains to Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
We play a lot of Mario Kart together. We always have. Whenever we go to one of the famous barcades of Toronto, we usually pop in some Mario Kart 64. Instead, now we can finally both hone our skills at Mario Kart 8 on the Nintendo Switch. Plenty of new tracks launched last year, which really I've never even played yet. I haven't gotten back into it in a while because I have no one to play with. But now I have you to play with.
You do.
And we're going to see. And before we started talking about this, you said, if I keep playing at this, I think I'm going to catch you soon. I think I'm going to be as good as you. That. And I have a theory about this. Because I think when we play, you will catch me. You will best me, because I haven't been playing much Mario Kart.
I would agree with
you.
Yeah.
I think Mario Kart is similar to a game like Tony Hawk in the sense that whoever has played the game recently holds much more of an advantage. Because I think inside of us, there exists the skill. Two wolves?
Yeah, inside of us, there are two wolves.
Oh.
You never heard this theory?
No.
Oh, wow.
Would you have an ultrasound recently?
Yeah. He's got that dog in him.
That's what they mean?
They check my ribs. They're like, oh, he's got that dog in him. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
He's like, he's a trooper. It's like, no. He needs to go back to the emerge.
Yes.
We've seen
I winked at the dog. I winked at the nurse, and then they're like, okay, no, I'm not dealing with this. No, two wolves. You never heard that? It's like the Greek mythology side of angel and devil on your shoulders.
Oh, okay.
Everyone has two wolves inside them. And usually one is fighting for good and one is fighting for evil.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
One is a Luigi and one is a Waluigi, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Not Mario and Wario?
No. Wario, I think, is more... Who is more evil? Wario or Waluigi?
It's got to be Wario. What did Waluigi do apart from be Waluigi's partner in Mario Tennis?
That's why I would agree that Waluigi is more evil, because he's only known for being just a straight antagonist.
Oh.
Wario, I've had years of experience with and games where he's doing his own thing and being, Mikey, you might have heard this, a hero of his own story.
Yes.
Right. At least I have experience with Wario and go, oh my God, it's like an anti-hero where it's like Harley Quinn, where I'm like, oh, I feel bad because I've seen so much of Harley Quinn that I see how much she's a hero. I haven't seen shit from Waluigi other than being a dickhead. Waluigi more evil.
Dickhead with a great haircut, though.
You say that because you are Waluigi.
I don't know that I am him, but I will say this.
You resemble him?
I mean, I am tall and I am lanky and I have a mustache, if that's what you mean, and I am a sex symbol online.
And you're complaining a lot. Wow.
Sure, people draw images of me fucking my cousin Wario all the time.
Oh boy. Well, I'm definitely I'm the Wario of this story, so that makes me feel wildly uncomfortable.
Makes me feel wildly uncomfortable.
We really are the Mario and Luigi and Wario and Waluigi of this.
Like, you know what's funny about that? I would rather be Mario than Luigi, but I would rather be Waluigi than Wario. So in some ways we win, in some ways we lose. Who would you rather be of the pairs? Before I get back to my point that I was making about Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I would rather be Wario. Because then I'm further away from Chris Pratt. What do you think about that?
Wait a second. Why is Wario further away from Chris Pratt than Waluigi?
Because Mario. Wait, why would I be Waluigi? I'm either Mario or Wario, right?
Right. No, but I'm saying if you were to take Mario and Luigi and Wario and Waluigi, and you were to pick between those two.
So I thought I was picking between Mario and Wario.
No.
I have to pick Kazuo.
Yeah, well, the reason I say that is because I would rather when because no one wants to be the second fiddle and the sidekick.
Right. And yet here you are.
Sex symbol on the internet, getting drawn, getting fucked in all holes.
Oh my God. Waluigi though has a big dick.
He has to. He's got that.
Welcome to 2023, everybody. Nothing's changed.
He's got that Pete Davidson energy to him.
100%.
No. But what I was trying to say is if you had to decide between who you wanted to be in the duo between Mario and Luigi, I think most people would choose Mario.
Yeah.
But if you had to choose between who you wanted to be in the duo between Waluigi and Wario, I would choose Waluigi. So when you say you are the Mario Wario and I am the Luigi Waluigi, in one of those I am happy and in one of those I am sad.
Wow.
Which is a good balance to this relationship. There are two wolves.
There are two wolves inside of us. I keep telling you, man, Aristotle was onto something.
There are two wolves inside of us, just like inside of us, like I was trying to say, exists the skill to play Mario Kart and the Tony Hawk games. And it gets unlocked. Like it's like a plant that is dying and you give it a little bit of water and it comes right back to life.
Right.
So if you've been playing...
Or like the paddles, like... Clear.
Is that how you're bringing your plants back to life?
That's how I bring all my plants back to life. Electroshocking them.
Is that how piranha plants were made?
Oh my God, is that true?
I don't know. I'm asking you. You're the one who's
What the hell am I, the plant expert in this podcast?
You're the one who knows how to bring them back to life
is
through
Wario
electricity.
A famous plant expert? Yeah, then maybe.
Maybe.
I'm also not wearing yellow, but I'm wearing closer to a lighter color and I feel more Wario-esque.
Yeah. And I'm wearing...
You're wearing like a burnt orange.
I'm wearing a burnt orange and then green pants. So Waluigi. Luigi.
Say? Yeah.
What is the orange?
You look like the Thing.
John Carpenter's The Thing?
I'm not going to explain at any point in this podcast. No, I meant the Fantastic Four. Okay.
So that's why I say, I think because you have poured water or defibrillated your plant, your skill of playing Mario Kart is going to be much more alive than mine is.
Are you just saying that though because you're lowering expectations?
No.
So when I beat you,
do you not believe that? Like say you and I, neither of us played Tony Hawk and neither of us played Mario Kart for 2 years. Okay. And I played 10 minutes of Mario Kart and you played 10 minutes of Tony Hawk. And then we went back to go play each other or like half an hour or an hour or something.
That's a good question.
I think it would just like the amount of skill that you remember over the course of that hour of playing is like exponential to how rusty you would be after not having played it.
That's a good question because yes, but you know, the problem with that though is I believe you'd always beat me in Mario Kart and I think I would always beat you in Tony Hawk.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like all things being equal, you will.
All things being equal.
Yeah. Unlike the state of the world today.
Oh my God, am I right?
Oh boy.
And let me tell you, as two white guys, let me tell you, things are not equal. Yeah, I would agree with you, but I'm excited, and I think there's probably a future Mushroom Club, which is of course patreon.com/RedGreatPodcast.
Yes.
Where we will play Mario Kart 8 together.
We will, and by the way, another Mushroom Club that I'm very excited about, which either is out already or is coming out soon. We're not sure based on the time of recording.
The future
is our top 10 least favorite things of the year 2022. What a treat that is going to be. I'm everyone's talking about all the things they loved. Let me shit all over the year for a second.
We glowingly speak about our 10 favorite things. We're like, we just want to be a positive force in the world.
No.
Then we finish the episode and we're like, let's talk about the things we hated last year. I don't care. One of you guys might be on there. One of you listeners. I'm going to be like, that guy.
Our private list for sure.
For sure.
Speaking of our listeners, though, we actually had a couple people reach out recently that I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to as somewhat of a summary kind of to the top 10 lists that we had. Joe Griffin sent a top 10 list. We mentioned him on the podcast before. And in his top 10, he had a couple entries that I wanted to kind of highlight.
Okay,
Number 10 was The Last Ronin, which is a Ninja Turtles comic book, which is about the last living Ninja Turtle going to enact revenge, I think on Shredder's grandson or something along those lines, which I've heard a lot about. I've heard it's amazing. I definitely want to check it out. Also, this reminded me that when we were recording our top 10 favorite things of the year 2022, I said that I was going to mention what I was bumping off my list.
Yeah.
To make way for Cormac McCarthy's The Passenger, and I never did it.
Okay.
And I was shooting myself in the fucking head.
Oh my God.
And I was banging my head against the wall.
Yeah.
And I was sulking and crying all week because I listened back to the episode and realized how much I fucked up hard. So I need to make amends.
Yeah, okay.
And say that his number 7 was The Batman, which was on my list, I think, as number 9.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Batman?
The Batman. The Batman.
Wow, that was going to be the high on your list, eh?
Yeah, it was. And number 4, Joe Griffin, is the Retrograde Podcast, which, by the way, number 4, Joe.
You submitted the list and we're number 4?
Number 4?
You could have lied.
You could have lied.
Jesus.
He said his wife was number 1. It's so lame. So lame.
Does she make you laugh as much as we do?
Probably not.
Don't answer that question.
Don't answer that question.
Don't answer that question.
It's just like I get it. We love our partners. But like, what about us?
Yeah, right?
Don't leave us out in the cold.
100%. If it's cold for you, it's cold for them.
What is
You
that
never
a
heard
saying?
that? You never heard that expression?
I need you and I need to sit down at some point and you need to explain all these idioms
Okay,
to
so
me.
a cold for you, cold for them is about pets being outside.
Mhm.
And if it's cold for you, it's cold for them. And you're leaving them outside to freeze to death. So,
Oh, even though they were born with a fur coat and often really like the winter?
yeah, no, 100%. Fur courts and food courts, of course.
Food court. They're born,
in food courts.
No,
most-
I'm just kidding, Joe.
No, that's adorable. Your wife should be
adorable.
number one.
I love it.
Yes.
And then
Oh,
I
God.
wanted to read a review of the podcast as well.
Oh, okay.
5-star review that came out.
It's by Jay Griff.
It's by J. Griff Wife.
Oh my God. Stop distracting my husband.
I want to see Mikey's Waluigi's holes filled like a bowling ball.
Oh my
What is that?
God.
That's a weird
Like a
review.
bowling ball.
Like a
Oh, so
bowling-
like a 3-finger kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, no, this is one of the strangest reviews I've ever read, but a very sweet one at the same time.
Saying something.
This is by Menelaus of Elysium,
Nice.
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, very good.
Title: I shouldn't love this podcast, but
Oh.
cliffhanger.
Oh my God.
Andrew, I'm hooked. 5 stars.
So John
So I
Lithgow
keep reading.
cliffhanger.
3 things about me. First of all, this is a review about us. Tone it down.
This is like a Mikey style review.
My thoughts on Mega Man. First of all, a little bit about myself.
My dad never loved me. You're like, whoa, what the fuck? How'd this start?
I considered him to be a Mega Man.
Much like Mega Man, I also had a robot dog. You're like, what the hell?
3 things about
Yes.
me. I don't like podcasts, really.
Good start.
They tend to be too chatty and not on topic. I don't,
This is about us?
I think so.
Oh, God.
Or maybe that's just about podcasts in general.
Oh, sure.
I don't really play video games. Just never got into it. And I don't ever pay for extras if the free thing is weekly and high quality. And yet I love this podcast. I love learning about these games, and I subscribed to their Patreon within a few weeks, starting to listen to it, and would honestly still have subscribed if it was $10 a month. It's so quality. I love these two. I found this podcast a few months ago while trying to find something about Banjo-Kazooie and ended up watching their video on it, and it gave me all the warm feels. Shout out to Riley Little, who joined us for that,
Yes,
by the way.
absolutely.
From when I was a kid playing that with my mom. That's adorable.
Oh, that's very cute.
Since then, I've been going backwards and just listening to their old stuff, loving the banter and the really detailed and thoughtful insights into what makes a good game. This show has become the equivalent of The Office for me, playing in the background while I cook or clean or I'm driving. Highly recommend if you love all nerd things.
Well,
Just
that's
a sweet review.
very sweet.
A very sweet review.
I don't like podcasts because they're usually, meandering and they don't talk about the topic until I found the Retrograde podcast. And I'm like, what? Oh, man. You got to start a movement because you got to convince everyone else.
That's like if you cheated on a multiple choice test and the teacher is like, you guys fucked up. No one studied. Everyone failed except for one person,
For you.
Mikey. And you're like, what the
What
fuck?
Yeah, brother. I
You
got
just guessed on everything.
Oh, wow. That's a very sweet review.
A very sweet review,
Yes,
and we want to
very
hear from
sweet.
you guys if you're out there. Leave us an iTunes review. It will come across our table, and I'd love to give it a shout out on the
Yes.
podcast. Even if you think you can make us laugh in the review,
Yeah.
give us 5 stars. We'll dance for you.
Haven't we said that in the past? Just like, comment farts.
Just comment farts.
Just comment farts. Not the worst review in the world. Farts.
Not the worst review in the world, but I want to give not a review, but a preview of the year 2023 by proxy or by way of our top 10 most anticipated lists.
Mikey, so you made a list. I made a list.
Have you checked yours twice?
No, 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's enough. Sorry. Before we get into that, I do want to say, because you always make fun of me for not finishing games, I mentioned on the last episode I was very close to beating Elden Ring. I did finish Elden Ring. I finished it just before the break, the holiday break, so like mid-December.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to talk about it with you yet. Very, very broad strokes. Not my favorite FromSoft game.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's my second least favorite FromSoft game.
Okay.
Next to Sekiro, but is still a phenomenal work of art. I think it is an outstanding achievement. I don't want to get too much into it on this podcast. If you want to hear my thoughts on it, you can go listen to a podcast called Pixelated Thoughts.
Okay.
It's over on, I listen to it on Spotify. I'm sure it's on all the podcast platforms.
You're a Spotify guy?
I am Stitcher and Spotify.
Okay.
Stitcher for the premium stuff.
There we go.
Spotify for Joe Rogan.
And there we go.
So go listen to that. It's literally 2 hours of us just talking Elden Ring.
Wow.
A little bit of dissenting views, but nothing that's purposely inflammatory.
They hated it more than you?
No.
No, I know.
No,
No, I get
not.
it.
No. I mean, from myself, like if you want to hear some counterpoints to all the praise that's heaped on Elden Ring, not because I want to have that opinion, but because I think that we can think critically about the things that we love.
Absolutely, we can.
Go listen to that. It was a ton of fun, and thanks again for them having me on. But
Absolutely.
without further ado,
Well, that's great. Please give that a listen. Please support Mikey in that podcast. Yeah. So Mikey, we're talking about the top 10 things of the year. I also defeated God of War, but we'll talk about that next
nice.
week. We'll talk
I
about
started
next
it.
week.
I started it. So let's talk about that next
Oh,
week.
you
Once
started
I've
it.
had a little bit more time to get into it. Yeah.
So just fast forward 12 months and then we'll talk about how he finished it. Okay. So this list is an interesting one because in the past we've talked about, like we said, we started this during COVID when we did this anticipated games, which was a little bit of a folly on our end. Because these games would not be actually releasing that year. And that's a true thing of movies, video games, TV shows. They shelve things for a while.
I think one of the biggest examples, we did a top 10 most anticipated movies, and Top Gun was on it like 4 years prior to it coming out.
It really was.
Yeah.
God, those poor actors.
Oh man.
I know.
Yeah, those poor actors.
Yes. Those poor Hollywood elites. Yes. No, but so like keep that in mind that I tried to not name games twice because I thought, I've already said that, I'm excited. It's going to be coming out soon.
Sure.
But a really interesting year because there isn't that, video games are so much stamped by franchises.
Yes.
2, 3, 4s of versions of games. This year, I didn't find that to be a strong thing.
That's a great point.
And I find that to be really exciting for video games.
I do too. I
Fun.
think for so long, all we were looking at in terms of anticipated games were regular, like old IP.
Yeah.
Just like number 2, number 3, number 4, whatever it is. Last year had a lot of that.
Yeah.
This year, no, I mean, there definitely is an element of it.
There's a couple.
In fact, there is quite a bit. Oh, actually, my list is kind of chocked full of it. But there were a lot of options. There were a lot of options that weren't that. All I want is for corporate America to look at me, pat me on the head, and say I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, thank you for your money.
I like supporting big business.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Sue me. I like supporting big business job creators.
Yeah, Amazon. Guess where I got all my packages?
Where?
Amazon.
Okay. What a weird call to Amazon. Amazon, guess what? What? I got all my packages from you. Okay. Good talking to you,
Tell
Mike.
Jeff. If you're talking to Jeff, tell him.
Yes, exactly. Wait, he's the cubicle next over and you hang up very quickly. You're very nervous. Can't even talk to him.
So let's start this off, Andrew.
Let's start this off.
So did you have any thoughts that went into, apart from the fact that you didn't necessarily want to give too much credence to a game that may have shown up on a past most anticipated list, anything that you really looked for, maybe giving certain types of games a nod over other types of games, or were you just thinking like, whatever sets your heart ablaze?
I will say, well, yes, I would agree with you. Johnny Blaze.
Flame on.
Flame on, exactly. Is that I would find the games that immediately were like, well, of course.
Yeah.
I got to play this. Yep. You know what I mean? And the games that I had recognition towards, I'm going like, I've been looking forward to this.
Yes.
I'm going to put that in there quickly. And then from on top of that was games that you read the description to, or you see the trailer, or you kind of read up on, and you're like, oh boy. Yeah, that's something I'd be interested in.
I totally agree.
It's often so like, I've worked in hospitality and food service and stuff like that.
It's pronounced hospitals. He gives food. He provides food services in hospitals.
I'm the Jello maker for hospitals.
Yes,
it's a lot of Jello. And let me tell you, brother, business is a boom.
By the way, the Jello maker, I was the name of myself every time I entered twerk dance competitions.
The Jello maker.
The Jello maker. Yes.
What's your favorite color of Jello?
Oh God, it's probably green.
Yeah, I was gonna say green too. Actually,
yeah, green is good.
If you said red, I would have slapped you across the teeth.
Red isn't bad.
Sure,
it's better than purple.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah. Wow. Do we have a lot of takes on Jello?
Should we do Jello cast? Top 10 Jello flavors?
Honestly, do not tempt us. 2026 top 10 Jello flavors.
Honestly, lists have been working really well for us.
Yeah.
So if you have any lists that you want us to do,
great.
Send us some recommendations. We actually got quite a few recommendations, so fantastic. Thanks for that.
Keep coming in. We'll shout you out if we choose your list.
100%. Okay. And how about this? If you have a list you want us to do, submit it with your list. And if we choose your topic, we'll read some of yours on the podcast as well.
I love this.
Yeah.
Okay, great. What I was kind of saying is like, so being in food.
Oh, how about this?
Okay, yeah, please.
Write me a love letter.
Mm-hmm. Little perfume.
Little perfume.
Yeah, you got to open up like in the war.
Oh.
Like with like a still shot and some perfume, and
You
you're
have
like,
to handwrite it.
yeah, that'd be nice.
Just do that. No other stipulations.
Should we get a PO box?
Just yes, we should. We should.
We really should.
Just send me. Just tell me you like me.
A little PO
Not
box
even
would
love.
be the worst thing we've ever done. Like, no, we got another human hand. Okay, I guess. So what I was gonna say is, I've been in food and beverage for a very long time, and the way that you get so you get drowning in all these choices all the time that when you go to a restaurant, you sometimes look at stuff and go, oh, I have no idea what that is going to be like. And there was a lot of that with video games. You play so many video games that you kind of start thinking about, like, oh, that sounds like the most unique idea I've heard in a long time.
Yes.
I'm going to choose that. That is what I'm anticipating.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually kind of a good way to start. Can I start with my number 10?
I would love that. Yeah.
Okay. So my number 10 is going to be a game called Nightingale.
Oh, okay.
And it's for the PC, and it's to be confirmed 2023. So
okay.
a little bit,
there's going to be a lot of that on our list.
yeah,
Yes.
it's unavoidable in a lot of ways. But okay, so Nightingale, it is described as a shared world survival game. Okay, shared world survival game, something I actually quite like.
Okay.
And then it also takes place in a Victorian fantasy setting.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Holy shit. If you pull that up and start looking at screenshots, which I'm hoping you're doing right now as a listener, it is people in fancy garbs and then a bat with nails in it.
Ooh.
And I cannot begin to describe that. I was like, hello, there we go. Is that number 10? That is absolutely number 10 for me.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
There are so many. I mean, and this is another thing is like when you start to really dig into the games that are coming out, like early in the year, before preview builds have really gotten out and everyone is just using, kind of like you said, your wildest imagination for like, ooh, that's an interesting amalgamation of ideas.
Totally.
I'm excited for it because it's different. Will the differences end up being positive or negative? Who knows?
Who knows?
Before I've seen the previews and before I've played the game, in my head, it exists in the perfect version.
Totally.
And I think there's a lot of those sorts of things on my list as well.
I completely agree with you. And like some people will say like, well, we played a beta and we're really excited for it. It's like, well, that's easy at that point. Like you've already reviewed the game in a lot of ways. I think it's really exciting to look at a concept, maybe look at some art, maybe look at a trailer, like half done, and then kind of go, man, this might be a good game.
Yes.
Because no one wants to find the thing that has $100 million budget. They want to find the thing that is like the new thing.
Right. You want something that you didn't, kind of like The Bear, like you talked about on your top episodes. You're like, this wasn't really on anyone's radar. And then it comes out and it's great. You love to be surprised with things like that because all the things are already coming are still coming.
Yes.
But then imagine inserting a couple superstars in there. It's such a nice feeling.
You want to be a horrible hipster in the way that you see the band, not because they're at the 20,000 person basketball stadium.
Yes.
But because they're at the small local bar and they're like, I saw them when they were
Exactly.
little. Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
And they looked at me.
They did. Wait, they looked at you?
And I felt seen.
Oh. Like in a good way, or they went like they were pointing at security, like that guy. Get him out of here.
They said, that guy. They held up a picture. It was of Waluigi getting fucked in all his holes. And they said, get him on stage.
We finally found him. We've been asking Waluigi to get fucked on our stage for so long, and he's here. Get up here, Waluigi.
Waluigi.
And Mikey's like, wow.
I look at him like, why does that drummer have so many drumsticks? What is he doing with those?
He better be an octopus with all those drumsticks. No. Okay.
My number 10 is a game that I actually, when I first saw it, did not love the look of it. But the more I've kind of paid attention to it, and the more I've seen previews, and the more I've seen some significant organizations talk about this as though it could be something special, the more excited I've gotten. The reason I wasn't that excited about it is because the preview that I saw of this game showed off a boss fight that was basically you versus a giant orb with legs. And all I could think of was a boss fight that I had in the game Destiny, where you're just shooting a giant orb for way too long. And I was like, that looks like garbage. But the game itself looks fucking stunning. It's called Atomic Heart.
Oh, okay.
Atomic Heart is coming out as what looks like one of the most gorgeous looking games I've ever seen. It's been described as like a first person shooter RPG along the lines of something like BioShock meets Fallout.
Whoa.
And I'm going to say that it also has a look of like Condemned Criminal Origins into it, which we played on this podcast, I think in February a couple of years ago. And I think just worked really well. I think a first person shooter that can pull off melee mechanics, like Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay, which was on our top 10 movie games or my top 10 movie games list. I think it's a nice feeling that I don't think a lot of RPGs get right. So if this has the ability to do that, it has that BioShock thing of like weapon in one hand, magic in the other.
Sure.
And as long as that doesn't get stale, and as
Just
long
like
as
David Blaine.
just like David Blaine, a weapon in one hand, magic in the other.
When we future describe a some horrible thing that David Blaine does, it's gonna be like weapon in one hand, magic in the other. He killed 32 people
on a rampage in Times Square.
Yeah, exactly.
They woke him up from his ice cube sleep too early,
Yes,
like
exactly.
a hibernating bear.
He was underwater for 13 days. And they're like, 32 dead, 14 missing. Like, oh no, David Blaine, why did you do that?
Population of doves mysteriously increased. We don't know what happened. So number 10 for me is Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart sounds really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my number 9, I'm going to be choosing a game that was recently brought up by you.
Yeah.
And now I've not been able to think about it, but I'm only putting it at number 9 because I'm still cautious. I'm going to give you the game Judas.
Judas. Andrew, that game is up later on my list.
Okay, so we will talk about it when you
As we always do, if there is crossover, we save our thoughts until it's higher up on the list.
There we go. Very
which
good.
we learned from a listener.
Yes, we did.
Is the right way to say it.
Absolutely. And we're going to respect that listener.
And I do.
So what is your number 9 game?
My number 9 is a game that I'm just going to say it because I know it's going to be later on in your list, and you're going to be upset with me that it's not higher.
Thank you.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh my God, it's number 9?
It is number 9. All I will say, because we'll get into it when you, because I know you love those games, is I've played a lot of superhero games that have like all the Batman games, all the Spider-Man games. So yes, I am very excited for it, but it's going to feel like a game that I have played before. So it doesn't feel, kind of like you said, like the potential for newness just isn't there as much for me.
Okay. We'll respect that, and we will definitely be speaking about that in a bit.
Okay.
Well, there we go.
Usually, I mean, the last couple lists we've had like no crossover, but I feel like there's going to be a decent amount of crossover.
So now we just got 2 in a row. Okay, so for my number 8, I'm going to be choosing a game that's going to be coming on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and S. Okay. And Windows PC. I tried my best. I will say though, in most of these games, they are saying it's the new console, guys.
Yes.
You got to be switching over, which
I like is finally happening.
I have 2 thoughts for that one. I like that they can plan purely to be making on the new console with all the power in it, but I also do feel bad that people have to buy a new console.
I don't at all.
You don't at all?
No. Order a new one from Amazon. Like, what are you doing?
But it's not that easy.
Why not?
Money.
Amazon makes it very easy.
Oh God, are you sponsored by Amazon? What's going on?
I'm not. I just love convenience.
Right. With anybody, like anything, right?
It makes it, if you're making my life easier.
Right.
Because like, here's the thing.
Yep.
I work hard.
Right. For your money.
For my money.
And you're going to treat it
right. And I'm going to treat it right. Okay. So when a new console, I look at PlayStation and I'm like, TikTok, PlayStation 5 came out a couple of years ago. I need something to spend my money on.
Yeah. PlayStation 6.
Put me 2 generations ahead of these idiots.
Yeah, these plebes
who can't afford a new console because they don't work hard enough.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's what this is.
He looks down on the working class. He's the anti-Bruce Springsteen.
I don't even look down on them. Mm-hmm. I look over them.
Wow.
They're not worth me looking at.
Oh my God. Mikey's turned true villain.
This isn't turning.
Yeah.
I've been this way forever.
So yeah, they're doing new consoles. That must be really exciting for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Those who can afford it.
Yeah, those who I guess so.
And also with you.
Yeah. Some weird Catholic mass energy on that one. Okay, my number 8 is going to be Skull and Bones.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
I'm really excited by this. I've liked pirate games in the past, which is such an insane thing to say out loud. I really loved the Assassin's Creed when we went to Black Flag, when we went to Pirate Time.
Yes.
And I just like the what?
Sounds like the weird offshoot of Medieval Times.
Pirate Time?
Pirate Times.
Dude, if there was Pirate Time,
I would.
Like, you tell me we wouldn't go?
We would be there right now. We would be recording a live episode from Pirate Times.
What do you like working at Pirate Time? Yeah, you're like, all right, sounds pretty good. That's pretty good. It's a piracy simulator, which I think is just kind of fun. What?
You're just stealing DVDs.
Yeah, you wouldn't steal a car.
It's a piracy simulator.
It's a simulator. It's supposedly coming out in the first quarter, so like something to look forward to pretty quickly. I also like the idea of building up a ship, which is also, if you know anything about me, I love building up the town.
Yep.
I love building up the architecture. Oh, can we get new cannons? This is really exciting.
Yes.
Nick
is stale.
More wenches. A new parrot. Oh wait, parrot and pirate are kind of close to each other.
And they love each other.
Okay, can I bring up something else?
Okay.
I finally watched Master and Commander: Far Side of the World this week.
Was that burning a hole in your to-do list?
Mikey, it's a really good movie.
Oh, is it really?
It is a really good
This
movie.
was the movie that came out after Gladiator for Russell Crowe, right?
Yes, it
this
was.
This was like his post-Oscar movie.
And it was it's based on a series of books. And
so it's Russell Crowe's Stealth, a la Jamie Foxx.
Yes, 100%. Jessica
Yes.
Biel, who could forget about Stealth?
Right after he wins the Oscar for
Halle
Ray.
Berry wins an Oscar. Catwoman,
baby, yeah.
immediately in just ready to go.
Yeah.
No, Master and Commander. If you are listening to my voice and you see Master and Commander, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is good.
What is the subtitle of it?
Far Side of the World,
right?
So
Yeah,
Far
yeah.
Side of the World is one of the books.
Oh.
And so it's combining two of the books. And it's just one of those like, hey, do you want to see Russell Crowe kind of be a badass and a little bit cheeky about it and be very handsome here? Yeah. All right.
Oh,
sounds
amazing.
Good. It is really good. And so I hate to say it, you play this piracy simulator and you kind of go, yeah, I kind of want to be Far Side of the World on this one. I love it. It's so much fun.
My brother often says, he's like, man, to be a pirate would be amazing. That would just be the life. I'm like, it would be terrible.
It'd be terrible.
It would be terrible.
Oh my God.
I think my brother also said something recently that
Just to be clear, your brother, the co-host of the Jackass
Jackass to Jackass podcast, and it may have been on Jackass that he said, he's like, and I, Andrew, when I hear these words come out of his mouth, I get so excited. He said, hey, Mikey, did you hear, like if he pulls a Jay Leno, he's like, do you hear about this?
You remember this?
I heard that. When he says, I heard that, I'm like, yes. What did you hear?
What degenerate
What
told
did you hear?
this?
He said, pirates
Okay.
started being pirates.
This is recent news.
so they can go out and have gay sex.
What?
He said, that's why pirates existed. And I said, Chris, no, it's not. And he's like,
is this a booty joke?
No. He was like, no, because like no one would like judge them for being out at sea. And I was like, so you don't think that's a byproduct of being at sea for years at a time and not the reason why they leave for years at a time?
What started first? Being a pirate to be gay? Or being gay because you're a pirate?
I love you, sir. I can't tell my wife. Pack up some limes and let's hop on a boat. It's like,
do you have a parrot? Do you have an eye patch? Peg leg? Let's go. Let's do this thing.
Peg leg indeed.
Yeah, peg leg indeed. 100%.
Multi-purpose.
Wow, that's a very curious thought by
very
your
curious
brother.
thought. And to be fair, immediately when I said no, it's not, he's like, yeah, that doesn't sound right, does it? He's like,
I've not given this any active thought.
Skull and Bones looks great. A long, a release cycle that looked a little bit belabored at times, but pegged like the leg as a more realistic version of Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
so,
it also like was in development hell for a very long time. So I'm kind of glad to see it come out in 2023.
Did you ever play Sea of Thieves?
I did play Sea of Thieves.
Oh, nice. Did you like it?
I did. It was a lot to get into. Like it's a huge time commitment into way to build up, and I just couldn't possibly commit my time to that. But the places the parts I played were really enjoyable.
I love the idea of it, but I never got into it. I think I was kind of turn away from it because when it first came out, it had some issues, and when a game has issues at launch, and those are the only reviews that I'm reading, I kind of just keep that opinion of it forever. When that's not a great tactic to go about these things.
Sure.
So that was your number 8. So my number 8 is going to be a game that I initially thought was a bad idea. But the more that I get into properties like I know this is kind of unrelated, but Peacemaker. Okay. And well, actually, it is related. And Harley Quinn. Yes. The more I think, you know what? I think I really like the Suicide Squad, and I cannot wait for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
And Mikey, we'll be talking about that later on my list.
Fantastic. I cannot wait to talk about that.
I know. We'll get into it because that's also a very fraught development.
Yes.
So, okay. All right. So that's your number 8.
Yes.
So let's move on to my number 7 then. This is going to be coming out on Xbox and Windows PC. It is Redfall.
Oh, Redfall.
Redfall, the upcoming open world co-op FPS game. Open world co-op FPS? Hello. That is right down my alley.
Did you ever get into games like Destiny? I know not quite open world in the same way, but
so one of our former guests, local Toronto legend Jesse Borg, loves Destiny.
Yes.
And so we played that a couple of times online. He's a big loot shooter guy.
Yes.
And
Shoot Ryan.
Yes. Brian, as I annoy my partner with, Brian Seltzer Orchestra. And I'm like, he was big into the hard seltzer thing. How in the world has Brian Seltzer not had Brian Hard Seltzer?
You say that as though you know for sure he hasn't.
That's a good question. You know what? Let me Google some stuff.
Okay.
It's much. Brian Seltzer. Excuse me. That upsets me to even say. Got off a lot easier than the horribly disgusting cherry popping daddy.
Cherry popping daddy.
Yikes! Oh my god.
We don't love that name.
No, we really don't. But yes, I saw a trailer for this Redfall. It looks awesome. It looks really, really fun, and it's a cool original idea, and it's totally something that I can imagine myself playing and really enjoying.
Yeah, I think it's an Arcane game as well,
yes, it is.
Which, any fans of Dishonored, Prey being another one that they made.
Yep.
I think they just have some great, was Deathloop another, did Arcane do Deathloop?
I don't know what to tell you.
I always forget. But those sorts of games, I know Deathloop was very much like a game like Dishonored, which Dishonored 1 was like one of my, it is definitely.
Okay, there we go. Nice.
Game. So anything that they do, I am also very excited about
awesome.
trying out. I'm this year just feels like, a year where a lot of larger companies are taking swings on new IPs. Like we talk about how it's not how there are new IPs, but what we didn't really mention is that this is also a lot of bigger companies that are making these new IPs.
Yes.
And that's always good to see because you're not starting out with just like a proof of concept. They're going to put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah, totally. Like we can make fun of Avatar 2 all we want and stuff like that, but it's the original idea that Big Jim is, giving Big Jim energy to. And you know what? And it's opening to Oppenheimer for that trailer.
Oh,
and as much as I will be the first one to admit, I'm like, I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan person. And it means I like his movies. It's just not, I'm not like, whoa, wait a second, here we go.
Yeah.
He's making original stories, and that's really cool. And when we see stuff like this, which is about like a horror Western type thing, hello, let's go. That's awesome.
Honestly, I'm into it. Also, I am very excited for Oppenheimer. I am too. I'm really excited for that movie.
If there is a white actor under 40 that you like, he's in this movie, man.
He's in it.
Just check you. If you're under 40 and white, you might be in this movie and not know about it, man.
So Redfall, yes, a great one on there. Not on my list, but I'm glad it's getting some love. In fact, knowing that you didn't play Deathloop last year and are still showing it some love. And did you play Dishonored?
I did play, yes, briefly. Yeah. Not the whole thing.
Another game that I absolutely loved.
I Mikey'd the game.
I beat Elden Ring. I thought I told you that.
You did. And Mikey, I can't begin to describe how proud of you I am. Would you say it's 100 hours or something like that?
110?
110. That's insane.
It is a lot.
That's too much to ask.
You know what sucks is I've been listening to another podcast and they've been talking about Get Played and they've been talking about Persona 5 Golden, which they just did on their it's like a JRPG and it's like 120 hours. And I never thought I'd want to play it, but hearing them talk about it, I'm like, do I want to play this game?
Oh no.
I will never finish this.
No, you'll never finish this. You might just not show up. It just might be me into a microphone like, and welcome to the retrograde. We'll keep the empty chair and everything will be like Elijah. It'll be great.
Elijah.
Yeah, that's our friend who
does Elijah have two wolves in him?
Well, yes, he does, because he's a human being.
Oh, is Elijah the Clint Eastwood when he talked to the chair with no one in it?
Well, that was, of course, he was speaking to Barack Hussein Obama right. At the Republican National Convention. What a rare miss for our guy Clint, doing a whole performative thing in front of a bunch of conservatives about like, he's an empty chair. He's an empty chair. And he goes on to win re-election. No, that's of course to my Jewish friends, and happy Hanukkah to them, about leaving the door open and a chair empty for Elijah.
Oh, Elijah Wood just visiting all.
I also will say, if I got any of that wrong, I'm so sorry. I tried so hard there. I don't know.
I should know.
You should.
I'm the part Jewish one.
Yes, you are.
Which part? I'll never tell.
You and I racing to that one. Okay, so yes, that was my number 7.
To it with the speed of a Sandy Koufax fastball.
Wow, a famous Jewish athlete. Yes. Look, he's on fire. All right.
Okay, just like a menorah.
No. Oh, okay, good.
No, Andrew.
I thought you were like making some awful joke, and I'm like, no, please don't do that.
You were so quick to shut
I was
that
so
down.
quick to like,
nope.
wow, moving on, number 7. Holy shit, number 7.
Number 7 is going to be a game that I've been waiting a very long time for. I played the original on PC way back when.
Yeah.
This is Stalker 2. We had a lot of new entries in the Stalker franchise, but Stalker 2, they were more of like offshoots and expansions and things like that. Stalker 2 looks like a true return to form for a game that I really fell in love with.
Yes.
It was one of the first games that I played that was sort of open world RPG first person shooter in a way that drew me in like I never would have expected. Like almost survival, definitely an element of survival horror, but the idea of like, I have 4 bullets. I feel good about myself right now. And there's also a lot going on in the world with like radiation and mutants and colonies underground and that sort of thing. I cannot wait for Stalker 2. I've been waiting a long time. I think it was originally supposed to come out in 2022 as well, and it got pushed forward, pushed back. Justin,
man, you have trouble
we need
directions.
help. Justin, we need help. He's the guy who helped us with the higher or lower. So Stalker 2, not on your list, I don't think.
No,
but,
it's not.
A game that I cannot wait to sink my teeth
You know what's
into.
so funny? I actually not seen that game on there. It might have been on my list because of it. I really liked Stalker.
Stalker was fantastic. Yeah.
Well, that's really awesome. So Stalker 2 is your number 7?
Is my number 7.
Okay, there we go. Number 6 for me, I kind of cheated. This is a game from last year.
Oh.
And I was really excited about it because it was really high up on my list last year. And it's a Bethesda game.
Oh.
Starfield.
Okay, we will be talking about this.
Okay.
Yes.
You have it higher on your list?
100%.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm really glad to hear that. So that's number 6 for me.
Of a game that I'm very, very excited about. Curious to see what Bethesda brings to the table. Actually, Redfall, you mentioned that Redfall is coming out on PlayStation as well?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting, because I know Arcane.
Oh, sorry, no, it's not.
It's
Xbox
not.
Series and Windows PC.
Right, because Arcane is now under the Microsoft umbrella, so that makes sense. This next game, then my number 6, because we'll talk about Starfield. When we start to, the reason I brought it up is because we'll start to see some of these exclusives for Microsoft after this enormous couple of purchases that they've made.
Yeah.
The next game on my list, though, is a game that comes from one of my favorite developers of all time. I don't want to say too much. I just beat one of their games, but it's a return to one of their earliest games, so early that a lot of people don't even realize they made it. It's Armored Core 6. I don't know if Armored Core 6 is going to be coming out for sure in 2023.
Right.
Knowing From Software, I think it might get pushed to 2024, but right now it is slated for 23. Not sure when it's going to come out. The original Armored Core games, I played the demos like way back on PlayStation. And then I think I rented like Armored Core 4 or something like that, or something along those lines. I liked the idea of them, but they never fully like grabbed me. But now that From Software has evolved to the company that they are, I just can't imagine them making a miss. Even Sekiro, which is not a game that I loved, I recognize how great it is in spite of its differences from Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring and all that. I appreciated it for it being a very well-crafted game. It being?
Yeah, that's just a funny 2 words together. It being.
Yep,
that's all I got.
It being the torment of, what's the town that it's in?
Oh, I don't know. Sewers.
It being the torment of sewers.
Yeah,
yes.
Red balloons.
99
of them.
99.
Yeah, 100%.
So I can't wait to see what Armored Core turns out like. I'm very excited to get my hands on it and maybe have it be the first Armored Core game that I actually finish.
Oh, that's really exciting for you then.
Yeah.
I know. And it's from a place or a developer, that you really love.
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to see what they can apply to it and what sorts of influences they draw from some of their other games now that they can put in Armored Core that maybe didn't exist before.
Awesome. The town is Derry.
Derry.
Derry. Derry.
Every time I visit it, I get bloated.
Yeah, 100%. My skin breaks out.
Oh, no.
And I shit myself. Okay, so for my number 5, we can finally talk about it. We're going to talk about Justice League.
Suicide
Squad. Kill the Justice League. I got the subtitle first. So this is kind of a fraught development.
Yep.
Because early 2022, this was something we talked about last year. The trailer came out. Everyone's like, let's do this. This is exciting. And then it kind of went quiet for a while.
Right.
And there was some changeovers in executive positions within the studio. And now the game is supposed to come out in 2023. Now, in concept, a narrative co-op game, open world.
Yep.
Okay, hello. This now talking my language, not as much yours. And what? No.
I'm
too big.
I'm comparing it to Gotham Knights. I think it could suffer from the same pitfalls of a Gotham Knights because I think it makes a lot of the same promises.
Yep.
And I think Gotham Knights failed quite handedly, and that's coming from a developer with a lot more promise behind them, or working with an engine that really worked with the Arkham games.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm very excited to see what they do, but we really haven't seen much about the game apart from the fact that it's got a really cool fucking trailer.
Yeah, it's got
with Harley Quinn versus Batman.
And stop me if you've heard this one before. Suicide Squad with a lot of promise and a great trailer.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yet I don't know. There's a lot of positive momentum around that at one time, and I think the idea, even though it's based on IP, is really fun and creative. And to play as King Shark, to play as Deadshot and stuff like that, it's kind of a fun idea when you kill the Flash,
sure,
or whatever. I guess
what I'm most excited about is how much DC, unlike Marvel, is willing to let their animators and their storytellers really go for it in terms of the gore and the violence. I can imagine that you will kill the Flash.
Yes.
That maybe you will kill Batman. That may be the one that you don't.
I think it's Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash.
Yeah. Based on the story itself. But like we know Batman is in this, based on the trailer, which looked fantastic.
It did.
And the ways in which you kill them is going to be gory. Like if anyone's seen Harley Quinn, the show, I couldn't believe how much they went for it in terms of the gore and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And if they really don't pull any punches, I think this can be unlike any other superhero game we've ever played.
Yeah. And I agree with you. You kind of mentioned Peacemaker and, Harley Quinn, the animated show, and even the last Suicide Squad. You're like, okay, there's a longer leash. With that being said, who knows with the current decisions that DC makes. And I wonder if James Gunn and the other guys have their hands on it now because, man, they're very little remorse. They're like, hey, Rock, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
no more Black Adam.
And it's
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, get out of there. The one thing about it though is like, I have faith that James Gunn can make a good movie. He's done it several times. In fact, Suicide Squad, the one that he did, is probably my favorite DC movie of the last little while in the DCEU.
Sure.
We'll see what happens if he though wants to play the role of Kevin Feige. And really kind of get his hands on controlling whatever else is out there. You're right. He may start to tug a bit on the leash and not let them go that route.
Which I think would be bad.
I think it would be very bad.
I think there's very few opportunities that you could do what Marvel did, and trying to recreate it, I think would be a folly.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
you
that's
kind of need to go the other direction.
I agree.
People love The Boys. People love Invincible. People kind of maybe want to see a more rugged superhero movie. Not rugged in terms of dark.
Yeah.
Like Zack Snyder would do, but rugged in terms of like a kind of a gross, realistic story with dirty consequences.
And I would say offer difference in these characters. Like you can't just, the idea of one storyline is a really cool one and very hard to do. And that's impressive that they've been able to do it. But I think it's fun if you were able to do like, we can do this, which is a straight up Batman movie.
Yep.
And then this one where they're cursing and killing people and doing stuff. And then this one, which is a little bit, I think difference is good.
I agree. I agree with that.
There we go. So that's my number 5. Kill the Justice League.
Number 5. My number 5 is something that we can now talk about. It is Starfield.
Okay, there we go.
Game that, what was that, number 7 for you?
Starfield was number 6.
Number 6. So Starfield is a game that I am almost paralyzed by when I see it. I know Bethesda and I know what they can do, what they can bring to the table, but I have to assume this is going to be a good game based on their pedigree, but it's just, will it be too big?
Okay.
And again, am I arguing against what everyone else wants? Possibly. But I have been paralyzed by the amount of choice and size in games previously. It looks like Starfield is their attempt at making the biggest, most comprehensive narrative game that we've ever played.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what they do and how they succeed, because I truly believe that this might be a game that changes the way these sorts of games are made if done right.
No, I completely agree with you. I think the scope is very intimidating. I would agree with you. But, Bethesda wants to make a game like that, and especially as their big first splashy platform exclusive game, since being bought.
Yep.
I think it's a really cool idea, the way that remember when we were kids and a new console would come out and they go, this is our guy.
Yes.
This is what we put all this time and effort into this one thing. It's going to come with every console. You're going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
Those usually were great games. And if this is that version of that for Xbox, I'm really excited for it.
I'm trying to remember, was this announced at the same time as the purchase of Bethesda?
That's my memory, but I don't know if that's true.
I think it might be because I was thinking, I'm like, man, if the world knew about Starfield and then the purchase was announced and everyone in Sony's camp was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I wanted that. But I don't think it was that. I think this was the first one they announced after having been purchased. So everyone always knew this was going to be Microsoft exclusive.
Well, there we go. I think it's a really exciting game. You know.
Yes. Did you play any other Bethesda games along? Like, did you ever play like the Elder Scrolls games? Or
I did, but only briefly. I didn't like play them to completion or anything like that.
Yeah. I like them. I liked them a lot more when I was younger because it was amazing just to be able to walk around in those worlds, and that was fantastic. But I wonder if I will kind of lose the thread a little bit in, you know, games like the Outer Worlds, which came out and they were kind of trying to be like a Fallout or like a space version of Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
I played them again and I'm like, man, I just don't know if this formula works on me the way that it did.
Totally.
And I hope that this does because I really want to love it. But I do have my reservations. And, you know, it's weird that I'm always talking myself down for my number 5 pick.
Yeah.
But those are my reservations. Everything else, I'm fucking super pumped for.
Well, there we go. Okay. So that is Starfield.
Yep. As my number 5.
Number 5. So my number 4, this is, no one is more surprised than me that this is my number 4.
Okay.
Number 4 is going to be Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I had this on my watch list, but not on my list.
I am excited for it, and now only because...
You're not alone, by the way. I don't mean to... A lot of people are very excited about this game.
No, I am. I saw the trailer, and I went, oh.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Andor has converted my brain a little bit of like being excited for more Star Wars things going forward. You know, I think we can all agree the last couple well, maybe we can't all agree. None of us can all agree on anything. But the last couple Star Wars video games...
Except that Barack Obama is an empty chair.
Oh, my goodness. Clint, your mouth to God's ears. Is that the last couple Star Wars games have left some wanting aspects of it. While they've been definitely singularly driven and they're definitely pushing what video games can be, Star Wars video games can be.
Sure.
They were for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think, I was disappointed by a lot of that. This seems to be changing a little bit. The menacing tone, the survival aspects of the game, I think it's a nice change to taking us to a world that we already want to go to. A lot of people want to go play these games.
Yeah.
And now you're giving us more reason to be excited by it. I think there's something to be said about this. Now, I will say these are based on a couple other predecessors that maybe were not my favorite games of all time.
Sure.
But yet, something about this one makes me really excited.
I hear you. I mean, eventually they're going to hit big. I would agree with everything you're saying about Star Wars games not hitting properly the way that they should. It seems like they could have been great and were kind of just good. The one exception to that is, and good is the enemy of great, if J.K. Simmons has taught us anything.
And evil is the dark side. But yes.
Oh, that is, I have heard that.
Good is the evil of dark side.
Good is the evil of dark side.
Speaking
That's
of
Yoda,
Justice
right?
League, yeah. It's Yoda, yes.
No, the one exception to that is Fallen Order, which was the game that the prequel to Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
So I think that this game has bones in there already that they can really flesh out. We talk about how a lot of these larger game companies are making games and in new IPs, and that they have so much money behind them that they're not just going to be a proof of concept. But I almost feel like Fallen Order kind of was a proof of concept. It was like they pegged it as like Dark Souls meets Star Wars, and I played it and I liked it, but it didn't carry my attention the way that it did a lot of other people. It does seem like this one might, and I'm excited to see what happens, because if it hits the way that it could, I will adore this game.
100%. That's the thing. It's like, if it gets a hit, it's a home run.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where you're like, oh, I love this game.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You just worry that they play conservative and it's a bunt, to continue my baseball metaphor.
Very well done.
Thank you very much.
That metaphor was a home run.
It was a home run?
It was a home run.
Okay, well, that makes me feel really good, because that's a really good outcome in baseball, just in case you don't know baseball. Yes.
Well, I didn't tell you the score of the game so far.
What's the score of the game?
It's about 8-1 them.
Oh, no. So this home run doesn't mean much at all.
But
good for my own stats.
You had 3 men on base.
It's a grand slam?
It's a grand slam.
Oh, my God. Are we at Denny's?
You are at Denny's, and all their pitchers are injured.
So what do they do?
They went to the stands for someone. And all the people in the stands were like, we can't pitch. So
it's like a rookie of the year situation?
It's a rookie of the year situation. Yeah. A kid with a broken arm came on.
We're going to beat the shit out of that kid.
Beat the shit out of that kid. Let's go with my number 4.
Please.
A game that I think might be on your list and is probably a bit low compared to where a lot of people have it, but I docked it points for being on the list continually year after year. It's Legend of Zelda, Tears of the King.
Yes, Mikey. We will be discussing this game soon.
Okay, soon. Good.
Soon. Not this one. Soon.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Because I have a different number. I have a different number 3, excuse me.
Okay.
So, because I would, if your number 4 was my number 3, we would discuss it together. But my number 3 is a little different, so we'll have to wait.
We'll have to wait for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
That's really exciting for me.
I'm
excited for myself.
I'm excited to talk about it because I don't get to talk to you about Zelda games very often.
I know, and usually I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so
that's it. So we will talk about it when we get to it. Andrew, then what is your number 3?
My number 3 is a really good testament to how this podcast has changed me as a video game player.
Okay.
We played this game originally, the original game, on a very spooky month. And
this can go one of 2 ways for me, and I'm excited for both of them.
Okay, cool. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Because I'm really excited for the fact that we played the original game. I actually was kind of like, this is a really cool idea.
Yes.
And then I got stuck in development hell for a very long time. But this year it is going to be coming out on all consoles, excuse me. It's going to be Alan Wake 2.
Oh, that is, okay, that was the third way it could have gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I saw some stuff from it, and it looks so cool. It looks so cool.
It does look very cool. I know that you're a big Twin Peaks fan,
I
right?
am a huge Twin Peaks
and
fan.
Alan Wake had that weird Twin Peaks David Lynch element to it, and I really hope they keep that in Alan Wake 2. I want it to be weird. I just really hope they do away with the fucking battery mechanic. I did not love that.
I would agree with you, and I would imagine they would at this point.
Yeah.
It's got to be solar panel or something. Oh my God. Am I right?
Jesus.
You said David Lynch. Okay, I'm going to ruin something for people. This is not like a plot point or anything like that. I saw The Fabelmans, which is Steven Spielberg's new movie. And it's the story of his life, and he becomes a filmmaker and all this kind of stuff. But it's mostly about his childhood and like the troubles of his parents and stuff like that. It's a really good movie. This just in. Steven Spielberg makes very enjoyable movies.
He knows how to make a flick.
With characters and stuff like that. But he's told the story many, many times about how he met John Ford when he was a teenager. John Ford, if you don't know, was like the biggest film director of all time up until Steven Spielberg.
And he also invented the Model T.
And he invented the Model T, of course. Yeah, he was both a film director and filmed a lot of Westerns and invented cars. And
didn't invent cars, but he did invent the assembly line.
He did, absolutely. And you can have any car as long as you want, in any color, as long as it's black.
As long as it's black.
And so he meets John.
And then he also said you could have any actor as long as it isn't black. That was the John
Actually,
Ford.
that would be John Ford.
Would be
yeah.
John Ford.
He's like, is this a Cowboys and Indians movie? Great. They're all white actors. So John Ford, he meets John Ford as a teenager or whatever, and it's kind of a crazy story and whatever. And I won't ruin that scene for you because it's like really funny and entertaining. Yeah. But they get David Lynch to play John Ford.
What?
I know, and you're like, so I'm in a theater, and it's like me and 6 other people, my player 1, and like 90-year-olds, right? And I was like, and so it was like, oh, you're gonna be, I'm like, oh my God, it's John Ford. That's really exciting. And then David Lynch walks in, and I went, I was like, my player 1's like, what? I'm like, there's too much to describe right now. I'll talk to you later. Oh God, it's the like only, whatever.
That's amazing.
It's really, really cute. So yes, Alan Wake 2, I agree with you. I think they'll get rid of the battery mechanic, but or maybe will not be as vital into why that is so annoying. But some of the visuals look insanely good.
It looks really good.
Like really good.
It looks really good.
All these 10 games look really good, right? And then some of them stand out and you're like, wait, what? How is this possible? Yeah. Alan Wake 2 looks really, really good. And I think there is a swing or a miss. Keep my baseball metaphor, game one.
It's 8-4 now.
Actually,
8-5, sorry, because it was 8-1 earlier.
100%. Now I got a broken kid on the mound too.
Broken kid?
Yeah. He's got a broken arm. And mentally, he's falling apart because he's giving up hits. he's melting down on the man. But is that when games take this long to come out after their the predecessor or the original game, they either are a masterpiece where you're like, holy shit, or they go away very quietly.
That was the point I was going to make. It reminds me a little, in a way, very different game, but of Beyond Good and Evil. Okay. A game, one of my favorite games of all time, and they always talked about a sequel. And at this point, I'm just like, maybe don't.
Yeah.
Maybe let it go. And Alan Wake kind of has the same thing. It always had a cult appeal to it because it was a good game.
Yeah.
But it was a little cumbersome and it wasn't perfect. It just came at a time when like that over-the-shoulder view was very novel and it told a story that wasn't really being told in gaming back then. But now we have a lot more of that. And I wonder if they're going to find a way to continue to be unique and relevant, even though so much time has passed and the things that made it great are now kind of commonplace.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited for it.
I hope it's good because
Okay.
I would love to play another Alan Wake
So that's
game.
my number 3.
My number 3 is a game that I don't know if it'll be as high up on other people's list, but this game feels like it was made for me.
Oh,
The game that got me into indie games was Limbo. Another game that I really loved was Inside. The lead gameplay designer of both of those games is Jeppe Carlsen.
okay.
I hope I'm pronouncing his name right.
Probably
but
not.
Probably not. He has a game coming out called Cocoon.
Oh,
Cocoon is an isometric game. Isometric is my favorite perspective in gaming.
you always talk about that.
I see it, and for some reason, it reminds me a little bit of Death's Door, one of my all-time favorites. The more
Right.
I think about that game, the more I absolutely adore it. And Cocoon, without knowing a ton about it, seems like it's going to be just on the back of someone who's great at designing gameplay and maybe giving me a perspective that I like. This feels like a game that was made for me, and I cannot wait for it.
Oh, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's your number 3, eh?
That's my number 3.
Wow, Cocoon.
Yeah.
Okay, very
it's,
good.
It's actually a tie-in to the movie.
I was actually going to ask, is that true?
No, it's
Oh,
not.
okay. I was
It's
going to be
not.
like, what a weird decision that was.
Strange choice.
Oh, good for them. Okay, my number 2, we can finally talk about it. It's going to be The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom, baby.
I'm
You know what? I don't want to say anything yet. You tell me why you're excited for Tears of the Kingdom. As someone who notoriously isn't a Zelda fan.
Yeah. Well, notoriously in the way that I've never played a Zelda game.
That's
I actually, so my player 1 and I are going to play Ocarina of Time starting in January.
Amazing.
And then we're going to lead up to May when this game comes out.
Sure.
I think
Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild?
she really wants to play Ocarina of Time.
Great. If you do it, it is one of the all-time greats.
And
Yeah.
we have Nintendo Direct Online. Was that called?
Just Nintendo Online.
Nintendo Online, excuse
Nintendo
me.
Switch Online. Yeah.
Which we are currently playing Super Mario World. And
Nice.
not great, Bob. I want to throw that controller over the fucking balcony. I'll tell you that. Oh my God. The number of times I'm like, and she'll just look at me and like, my hands are sweaty. I'm like, I know this game is infuriating. It's been really good. So yeah, I want to get into Zelda. And I really, everyone had told me about Breath of the Wild and how it just like, gave them life into their childhood.
Yep.
Like, just like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to play this game again. And if this gets to be that on a grander scale with different puzzles and things like that, how could I not be participating in what will be one of the biggest games of the year? I'm really excited to be jumping in. I know it's a little bit late, but nonetheless, I'm going to do my best. And I just imagine it's going to be fun and fanceful. And, I'm just excited.
I'm excited to get you in on the Zelda bandwagon.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room. Manwagon. Manwagon. Zelda's Zelda. Zelda's one of my favorite franchises of all time. Ocarina of Time is fantastic. Wind Waker is probably my favorite of that era. But Breath of the Wild was something special in the sense that it was an open world and you could go anywhere and do anything and tackle any boss in any order. And the world just felt like it was a pleasure to exist in and to discover its secrets. But it had a lot of flaws in my mind, especially in terms of ease of use and quality of life changes that they could have made to the menu system. And I hope, my hope is that what we get in Tears of the Kingdom is Breath of the Wild with those quality of life fixes incorporated, because that's all I want.
Right.
If the things that take me out of the game are now gone from Breath of the Wild, the things that took me out of that game are now gone from this game, I will adore it.
Right.
But I just don't want it to keep getting in its own way. Things like the crafting system for meals, how you have to put each of the individual ingredients into a pot, watch it cooks, like a very JRPG element of like, I don't want to watch this animation 30 times in a row.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, like, we're talking about a world in which I can jump from a tower and use a hang glider and get halfway across the map. Why can't I just press a button and have my horse show up no matter where I am? Why am I walking across the map because it fell off of a mountain or something and I can't get to it anymore? Those things need to change. And if they do, I think this is going to be one of the greatest games ever made.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm not alone in that. Some people think that Breath of the Wild is one of the greatest games ever made.
Well, that's really exciting. So that's my number 2, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom, my number 2 is going to be much higher on my list than it was on yours, because I think I just have a lot more faith in what this could potentially be. It's Judas.
Yeah.
Judas is like you said, the game from Ken Levine. I originally didn't even think about putting this game on my list because I couldn't imagine it was going to be coming out in 2023, but Ken Levine said in an interview, he didn't want to even show this game. He didn't want to really talk about it until it was near completion. Okay. Now, what does near completion mean? Who knows? But some people are reading that to mean it's near enough that the game will come out in 2023. And if it does, we're going to get basically a new BioShock, which I am clamoring for.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be so exciting.
The idea of that, we talked about in my number 10, Atomic Heart, kind of like the weapon in one hand, David Blaining it, weapon in one hand, magic in the
David
other.
Blaine Massacre.
The David Blaine Massacre. But what better option than to get it from the person who perfected it itself? I hope this game is everything it's promising to be. The story looks fucking amazing.
Yep. Oh no, I'm so excited. From everything you've told me and like the tips you give me, I'm like, well, yeah, that sounds exactly like what I want.
Exactly.
And also just another cool original game. Like, that's really exciting. So Judas number 2 for you.
Judas
number 9
2
for me. And I'm going to look very silly when it's in my top 10 favorite things next
I hope it is.
My number 1, most anticipated game. We've already talked about it.
Oh, wow.
Is Spider-Man 2.
It's your number 1.
Mikey,
I know you loved Spider-Man for 2017. Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I loved Spider-Man. I love Miles Morales. I loved both these things, and I had so much fun doing them. Miles Morales is going to be a big part of this game. We don't know. The thing is, we don't know much about this game, other than one huge element.
Which is?
Venom.
Oh.
So Venom is in this game. And that makes me so excited because now we have Peter Parker, we have Miles Morales, we have both of them going at it. And I think the way that they treated the villains in these last 2 games gives me a lot of excitement about Venom.
Sure. Especially
because, not going to be full nerd on this one, but I don't like the way that they're treating Venom in the movies. And Venom was huge.
I thought you ended up liking Venom.
I understand the idea of why people like that film.
Yeah.
It's just not the way I want to see him portrayed. Not my Venom.
Not my Venom.
Not my Venom.
Talk to that Venom. Here's an empty chair, Andrew. Tell that Venom what you think about him.
It's just goopy and black. What the hell's going on with this chair? Not my Venom. And then there's a red one over there, and like, not my Carnage. But like when we were kids, Venom came out.
Yes.
And he was one of the biggest characters in comics.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge imprint that he placed on me. And now we're already taking a game that I really loved, with a character I really loved, and now they're playing with Miles Morales, which is awesome. It's so exciting. And they get to introduce what hopefully is the best recreation of Venom into these video games. Hello, just like signed, sealed, delivered. Give me this fucking game.
100%. I think that proven formula with Spider-Man. Yeah. One of the all-time great superhero games, especially Miles Morales. I adored Miles Morales. I loved that game. I think after Demon's Souls, the second game that I beat on the PlayStation 5. It's a shorter game.
Yep.
But I think that with Insomniac behind this game, I don't think Insomniac's ever failed. In fact, I think they've kind of only just gotten better over time.
Right.
The one exception maybe when they were pumping out a new Ratchet and Clank game every single year, but they've learned. They're taking their time with it. It was 2017 that we got the original Spider-Man game that they made. Now we're looking at 2023 for this one. They had 6 years, to perfect it. And I think if they have Venom in it, the one thing Insomniac does better than any game developer out there is vary their mechanics within the game. Ratchet and Clank has guns that act entirely different from one another, and they're great at making fun out of that. You and I said, if a while ago, if there were one development company to make an MCU game, an Avengers game, it has to be Insomniac.
And we did that before they introduced the idea that they're making Wolverine.
Yes, exactly. Because I just, we always talk about like, what will the next thing be? When you had like an Iron Man movie and a Thor movie and all these movies coming out, and you're like, well, there's no way they're all going to get together in the same movie in Avengers. It's never going to happen. It's just too big for all this. And then it did happen, and then it became almost commonplace. In the same way that like when Guitar Hero was out, and then you're like, well, DJ Hero's coming out and Keyboard Hero. You're like, imagine you got all those in one game. And then it did happen. When the idea is out there, something's going to move towards it. And right now, the idea of Insomniac, who takes, 2-3 years to make a game, for them to be the company to make a game that incorporates Wolverine in the way that Wolverine plays in the Wolverine game, Spider-Man in the way that Spider-Man plays in the Spider-Man game, Venom in the way that Venom plays in the Spider-Man game, and then maybe Thor and maybe whomever. It could happen.
Yeah. And Incredible Hulk would be the one, by the way.
Incredible Hulk would be another really good one.
Hulk, Spider-Man, and Wolverine do deal with each other a lot.
That's true. Yeah, something like that. It would be great. It would be great. Yeah. And I think that they're as unrealistic as it might seem, as impossible as it might seem, it also, I think, is inevitable in some way. If it's not Insomniac, it's going to be someone.
Like Thanos.
Just like Thanos. Yeah. Half of you are going to die. If you're hearing my voice, half of you are going to die.
Well, we're all going to die, Mikey. But
do you know that for sure?
No, actually I don't, because I've never faced death. But you know what? I'd be excited because you're right. Introducing new mechanics. Spider-Man will be a symbiote version of him in this in some
Yeah.
case. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen, and that's really exciting because you get to do whole new stuff and be more powerful.
Sure.
But one of the more singular, just enjoyable experiences I've ever had playing video games in the last couple of years is swinging through the streets of New York.
Oh, it's the best.
It is
The best.
so much fun. It's so cathartic in some way. It's just it's therapeutic. And I really love it. And so I'm excited to have that back in 2023.
The sound design of of swinging down low to the ground and hearing the cars and people screaming, and you come back up and it's quiet, and then you fall back down. Just a brilliantly designed game, and I can't wait to see what they do with the next one. The only reason why it's so low on my list is because I almost can't imagine them making it that different, but I think that's selling Insomniac short. So we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Just like you with Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But that's a very fair, fear.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They did it so well the first time. It's like, well, why do we need to go back?
Yes,
You know?
exactly. They've made their money with Sony acquisition, and I think that maybe I don't think that they will, but I think there would be an understanding if there were concern that they're now going to rest on their laurels a little bit because they've got Marvel money coming in and Sony coming in and all this stuff. But I don't think they're there. Tim Price.
Sure.
Is that his
Rest
name?
on their Laurel and Hardee's. Is that a thing?
No.
Okay.
And it shouldn't be.
Okay. Well, I tried. I just thought I'd ask.
The score is 10-3. They've reduced your home runs, and
God,
the other
they took
team
them
has
off
scored.
the
They did
board?
take them off the board because you broke a child, Andrew. You weren't supposed to do that.
What is this, like a Make-A-Wish thing? That would be great. Make-A-Wish, and then I just want to throw a strike and just crushes the ball 400 feet. Oh my God.
Make a wish. You bet you wish you were dead now.
Make-A-Wish on this star. Bang! And you're like, oh my God.
Hot take on Make a Wish.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Do you need to do this, Mikey? Just give it a thought for a second.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone needs
Then
to
I'd
say
love to hear it.
Maybe dial it back a little bit. These kids are on their way out. Now, I'm not saying anything controversial.
No, that everything you said is factual.
These kids are on their way out.
Yep.
And you're showing them how great life can be. Those kids are going to be so sad when it's time to go. I say they make a wish.
Yeah.
And you fuck it up big time. And you say, well, kid, that's life. Kid's not going to be so bummed out when it's time to go.
He might advance the process quicklier. Yep. I said quicklier.
No, I know.
Boy, that hurt. I gotta.
Do you have a brain tumor? Do you have a wish to make?
Yeah, make them pay rent and bills for a day.
Honestly,
just like
this is what you're missing out on.
This is the rest of your life. This happens every day somehow. Have someone break up with them and then pay bills all the time, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "Welcome to life."
How many Make-A-Wish kids do you think say like they want to sleep with their favorite celebrity as their wish? That's their number one. And then
I would imagine sex or sexuality is pretty high on a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, that's a lot to ask.
That's a lot to ask.
Jessica Rabbit's not available. I want to see boobies. The internet exists.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents on
very good.
On Make-A-Wish.
Yeah. Talk to John Cena.
Leading into what?
You never heard about this?
No.
You heard about this? John Cena has far and away the most successful completed Make-A-Wish.
Oh, is that true?
Like it is so much so that he is averaging like 4 a week for his whole adult life. Like it's unbelievable. And for, compliments to him. Good job.
Yeah, that's
by him.
amazing.
But it's like, wait, what? Like, what else do you do? Like that's unbelievable.
He also speaks fluent Mandarin.
Yeah, Bing Chilling. Yeah, have you not heard that? Oh my God.
Is this theme of this episode you saying things that I have? Usually we are on the same page.
We are on the same page. If you've been on TikTok and you can hear my voice, you understand when he speaks Mandarin, and I'm not going to do it, but he speaks Mandarin for a good amount, and then he's holding ice cream, and he's in the back of a limo wearing a suit, and he speaks Mandarin for a while, and he goes, Bing Chilling, and then keeps speaking Mandarin, and it's an advertised to some ice cream company. And so now people do it where they've learned the Mandarin part and go, Bing Chilling, and then like, I have to eat ice cream now, and I
love the internet so much.
It's the best. People like Northern England people just learning Mandarin just so they can speak about Bing Chilling. And now I walk around the house just going like, Bing Chilling. It's John Cena's stupid big face going, Bing Chilling. With his weird...
The biggest face, the weirdest body.
The weirdest face, and his hair color is now curly like your shirt. And you're like, that's not a thing that's in nature. What is that all about?
Oh,
I love it. Bing Chilling. Yes, everybody.
His hair looks like the Thing.
It does. It looks like the Thing.
Ooh,
actually.
Could happen.
It should be the Thing. Actually, it's so, yeah. Okay. It's so funny.
Jonathan Chiklis is going to be so mad.
Michael Chiklis. Yeah.
No, his brother.
His brother's going to be
It's
defending
like
Michael Chiklis' honor.
Tom Hanks and his brother.
Ron Hanks. Yeah.
Woody Hanks. My number one, Andrew.
Yes, please. Bing chilling. I'm so excited to get that Mandarin ice cream.
My number one is a game that I also think was on one of my past most anticipated lists, but I cannot help but have this game be the most excited I am for a game that's coming out. What more is there to say about the game that everyone wants to see more of, and yet we probably never will? It's Hollow Knight 2. I don't know where this game is. I don't know why we haven't seen more of it. I understand, Hollow Knight, the original, is staggering in how big the game actually is. A lot of people don't realize that it's like an 80 to 100 hour game. It's massive. And I'd imagine they're trying to go back at it. What are you shaking your head at?
Doing to yourself? Mikey, like you
buying games, Andrew.
You gotta look after yourself at one point. Everything on the list has been like, yeah, this might be 300 hours. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, yeah. And you know what I'll do?
Not finish it.
I'll lick it like a Bing chilling. And say thank you very much and just go to the next game. No, but what I love about Hollow Knight is that it's usually available in handheld form. I beat it on the Nintendo Switch. It was the perfect platform for it. And I feel like a handheld game is actually way easier for me to put the time in on because I can just bring it into bed with me, which I usually don't like to do. Don't love screens in bed, but it's something where I can just kind of be like,
does that affect you?
100%.
Oh, really?
100% it does. Yeah. The only screen I'll have in bed, I don't have a TV in my bedroom.
Oh, you don't have a TV in your bedroom?
No. The only screen I'll have in my room is a Kindle.
Oh, but that's a low light thing.
It's low light. It's not blue light. I don't know if it's better or worse, but it's more about what screens do to like activate my senses.
Yeah.
Whereas like when I'm reading, I'm just reading.
Do you sleep with your phone out of your room?
I sleep with it on the ground face down on the other side of the room.
Okay.
So I can't just roll over and pick it up.
Like the guy at the end of Blair Witch?
Yes, very much so. Yes,
okay, just yeah. Wow, that was a real journey for you. What? Yes. Okay, thank you. Very good.
Yes, very much like the guy at the end of Blair Witch. But Hollow Knight 2.
Yes.
I've said all I need to say about it. I think a lot of people are with me in the sense that like they almost don't want to put it as number one because they've been championing it for so long that they're kind of sick of hearing their own voice champion it. Every time there's a Nintendo Direct, they're like, Hollow Knight, and Nintendo's like, nah,
not yet, bro.
Fuck you. Starve. Go stand in the corner of the room like Mikey's phone or the Blair Witch movie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, this is both unsurprising,
yes,
but also really gratifying. I'm really excited that you get this game to come out this year. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
And because it's been one that you've been really excited for a very long time.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. Andrew, do you want to recap our lists?
I would love to recap our lists.
Okay, I will start. My number 10, Atomic Heart. My number 9, Spider-Man 2. My number 8, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. My number 7, Stalker 2. My number 6, Armored Core 6. I just realized that.
Wow, 6
That's
6.
Cool. Number 5, Starfield. Number 4, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Number 3, Cocoon. Number 2, Judas. Number 1, Hollow Knight 2.
Oh, there we go. So my number 10 is going to be Nightingale. Number 9 is Judas. Number 8 is Skull and Bones. Number 7 is Redfall. Number 6, Starfield. Number 5, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Number 4, Bing Chilling. Number 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Number 3, Alan Wake 2. I should have done 2 and 2. What am I going to do? Number 2, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. And number 1, Marvel Spider-Man 2. God, I screwed it up twice there. Okay, what are you going to do?
Love it. Great list.
Great list.
And not as much crossover as I actually kind of expected.
Yeah, no, actually, we've been very good at these top 10s recently with very little crossover.
In the beginning, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a lot of crossover," but we didn't go through it. Andrew, I love doing that. It's a ton of fun.
I love it. So please, if you have your most anticipated games, or just drop a couple at us.
Yeah,
maybe ones we missed there. Please let us know what you're excited for at Rich Grey Mikey, at Rich Grey Andy, at Rich Grey Pod, because we want to be excited for 2023.
Definitely, and send us, like we said, your recommendations for top 10 lists that you want to see us do. We're going to be doing a lot more lists. We love doing them. You love hearing them. Remember to send your lists along. And I don't know why, maybe it's an end of the year thing.
Okay.
And people are feeling sentimental, but we've been getting a lot of love on email, social media, all that stuff. Just people dropping us a line, telling us they're out there listening means a ton to us.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to leave us a review on iTunes, even still, just send us an email, theretrogradepodcast@gmail.com, but also leave us a review.
Yeah, like burn in hell. Like, just leave us a review and comment. What are you doing? But if you don't, we love the love anyway.
Yes.
We appreciate you. And just like I'm about to say, we love every single one of you. Thank you so much for listening. We're excited for 2023. My name is Andrew Bascom, and with me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over. So you're sure it's 2023?
Now, no.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
And by Papa, I mean my player one